Hello and welcome. This is the Hobby Corner. My name's Kev and this is issue 2 of Mortal Realms. Let's have a look inside. So welcome back. Now, before we get started, please make sure that you click that subscribe button if you haven't already and the bell icon next to it so you get notifications every time I upload a video. Lastly, there are plenty of links down below, but some of them help support this channel, so do feel generous and click those and help support the channel to produce this awesome content just for you. Now, let's get to it, shall we? We're going to dive deep into the pages of issue 2 and we're going to figure out what the heck Myrmourn Banshees are, what they're up to, and what else you get included in this issue. Alright, so let's have a look inside. So I've already unpacked it just to make it a little bit easier. I'm going to start off by looking at what's included with this issue. So as you can see, we have a starter brush. So it's not the best. Starter brushes are quite poor in quality. They're just there to be hammered at, really. But if you look after it, it will last you long enough until you get more paintbrushes further along in the series. And also, if you do subscribe, then you get those free gifts as well, which include more brushes. We also get a pot of Corax White. It's a base paint. Ideally, when you paint onto miniatures, you'd want to do an undercoat spray or from a part of undercoat, but these base paints do just as good a job if you're going to paint on top of them as well. They just don't hold up so well if you're handling the models a lot. The paint starts to rub off. So if you don't think you're going to be handling the models a lot, follow these painting instructions to the T, and then right at the end, varnish it all, and then that'll protect it from rubbing off. But yeah, it's a good paint though. Rolling on. Now we get to it. Here we go. Here are the Myrmourn Banshees. Absolutely chock full of detail on the bases. Look at that. That's beautiful. And I mean, they're pretty ghastly, the Myrmourn Banshees, aren't they? Cannot wait to get these put together. I've had a couple just held away in the box and I just haven't got around to putting them together, so this would be a great opportunity for me. Now let's get into this issue. So, Battle Games in Age of Sigmar, the Wrath of Nagash, painting Nighthaunt miniatures, and Myrmourn Banshees attack. Ooh, alright. So let's have a look inside, shall we? So first of all, we get our little index here. This will come into play more once you get your folders, because it tells you roughly where each page goes in order. And of course you've got a little bit here from the editor as well. And then we get our first little thing here on the Myrmourn Banshees. So it says, the Myrmourn Banshees were once women who practiced the arcane arts and sought out magical knowledge. In their search for power, they failed to pay the proper respect to Nagash. In death, he has cursed them, forcing them to forever seek out and devour magic they craved in life. So that's pretty gruesome. Nagash likes his little twists of irony when he punishes the spirits in his realm, and that's just one fine example of it. We also get another expedition log here. I'm thinking, like, once in a while I'm gonna sort of narrate these, like, because they're actually really cool little mini stories. But safe to say, the Banshees are not nice. And then we cover what makes them so nasty. The Wailing Dead. So, screams. Myrmourn Banshees unleash terrible screams of rage and misery as they attack their victims. The Chill Grasp. Despite their ghostly forms, Banshees can grasp and tear, at the living or stab them with their chill daggers. Nice. Soul Eaters. The cold touch of a banshee saps the will and strength of the living, eating away at their souls. And then Spell Eaters. The Myrmourn Banshees hunger for magical energy. They can eat spells as they are cast and drain the magic from enchanted weapons. So, yeah, you wouldn't want to bump into one of these ladies. They're really nasty. Then it goes on to describe about the chilled daggers, and then destroying the dead. So you can use enchanted weapons and shields of Azir to help defend yourself against them. And then we move on to the Wrath of Nagash. So here's a nice little story on him. So Nagash hungers for the souls of the dead, considering them all to be his rightful due. Any who attempt to steal the source of power soon find themselves the target of his vengeful schemes. Even Sigmar will not be spared from the god of death's terrifying wrath. So yeah, he's a bitter old guy, but he can wait a long time to get his vengeance, because time's nothing for him. So it goes on saying how he went from a necromancer to a god, and how he's been sort of conquering the realm of Shaiish for his own ends. Oh look, we've got a little pamphlet. If you haven't subscribed already, please do now, because issue 4 is for free and that saves you $7.99. You get all these cool stuff. So we'll put that away because I've already covered all that. And then we've got awesome bit of artwork from Nagash there, and he's got one of his Mortarks up there. There's another Mortark there. Also a variety of stuff, and if you look in the backgrounds you can see more awesome models there as well of the undead. And then there's a bit on why Nagash and Sigmar have fallen out, and it's all to do with the Battle of Burning Skies. The Battle of Burning Skies was a colossal battle between Sigmar's forces of order and the followers of Chaos gods. Sigmar's armies fought bravely, but were ultimately defeated. Sigmar blamed himself for defeat, but also pointed the finger at Nagash, who had refused to allow his forces to join the fight. So, in the beginning of the Mortal Realms, Sigmar stumbled across all the different gods and assembled a pantheon to help, make the most out of the realms, create civilizations, blah blah blah. He managed to convince Nagash to join that pantheon, and then when Chaos started to attack the Mortal Realms, when it discovered the Mortal Realms, Nagash failed to show up, basically, and it screwed everything over, and Sigmar has been really peed off so far. So, because of that, is partly why Sigmar steals the souls of heroes just before they die. So they never go into the realm of Shaiish and never sort of fall to the will of Nagash, which also obviously pees him off a lot, because he wants those souls. They're the best souls possible, the souls of heroes. But anyway, we digress. So we go on a bit more about the Soul Wars. So after the devastation of the Necroquake, the dead just started rising everywhere, ghosts just drifting around, causing mayhem, destruction, and Nagash sort of brought them all in and made them into a force to be reckoned with. And of course this forced Sigmar to unleash a new chamber, and this chamber was dedicated to magical arts and the dealing of the dead. So they're perfect for combating hordes of marauding spirits. So it says here, Nagash claims all of Shaiish and every soul that enters his realm. To his fury, others dare to challenge this right. From the god King Sigmar to the dark gods of chaos, those who withhold souls from the great necromancer will be made to suffer as his plans for revenge fall into place. And then we've got a bit on the Necroquake. So the Necroquake, Nagash planned to draw enough power from Shaiish to conquer the mortal realms. Unfortunately for the great necromancer, his plans would be disrupted, resulting in the Necroquake. This eruption of death magic caused untold disruption across the mortal realms, altering the nature of magic itself, and causing vast Nighthaunt processions to rise from the grave. And then you got a bit more history on that with the Black Pyramid, and effectively these rat men called Skaven, they got into the Black Pyramid somehow, and then they interrupted the great spell that Nagash was working on, and just at the moment that it was gonna pay off for him, it all went to pot, and now you have wild magic running amok across the mortal realms, and hordes of ghosts just appearing out of nowhere. So Nagash is sort of using that to his advantage, because of course he's just got all these souls that are wandering around that he can weaponize. So yeah, it's all working out for him. But you know, it says a bit here about how the Nighthaunts had really sort of battered the Stormcast Eternals at several places. So yeah, it's really a really good read. Then we move on to how to build. So we'll cover this in another video, how to best build them and without a drop of glue. And then we move on to how to paint. So in this issue, it just tells you about the best ways to use the tools that you need, what tools you'll need. This is a good tip here about not letting the paint go all the way up to the tip, from the tip to the base. So the ferrule is this metal bit here, and if you're painting, you don't ever want your paint ideally to go more than halfway up the brush, because otherwise it gets into there, and once it gets into there it starts pushing the bristles outwards, and then you lose that lovely point. So, and never just grind the bristles at the bottom of the pot, just swish it in the water, keep your brush wet all the time, and point it once you've finished, just going like that while it's still wet, and yeah, you'll keep your point and it'll just look nice for longer. This brush isn't going to last forever, but you can make it last a lot longer. So water pot, paints and brushes, how to shake and open your brush, your paints, about the painting palette and stuff. Some of these things you'll get in the subscription if you subscribe, so it's well worth subscribing for those. And then we get to the actual painting. So we'll be base coating the Myrmourn Banshees and the Chain Rasp Horde, and it's got a nice sort of honest bit here where it will say that you'll need about 3 coats to get it consistent, so that you don't blob it on and disrupt all the detail like it shows here. You don't want to put it on thickly, you want to put it on thin, so you just put a little bit of water into the paint, keep it smooth and consistent, and do a couple of layers. And most importantly, every time you go to do a layer, make sure that the layer before has dried completely, otherwise you just tear and smudge the previous layer and you're just going to get an uneven result, really. And then of course, if you don't fancy this, you can always spray the primer on. So yeah, but it looks like you get a pretty good result there. And of course, I will be following the paint guys as they are here, and then doing the odd advanced tip like spray your stuff on it. Then we move on to the Terror Amidst the Tombs. So this is our new gaming scenario in this issue, and it starts with Anastasia, Starstrike and her Sequitors find themselves under attack by 4 wailing Myrmourn Banshees. Fighting back to back, they must avoid the bite of the Geist's chill daggers and send the cursed spirits back to their graves. Cool. So you'll be using the 3 Sequitors against the 4 Banshees. It will show you where to put them. You'll need all the stuff that you used in the previous issue, and then we go on with the piling and weapons and attacks and stuff. So we're still very much in the very basics of combat, but with a twist, because we learn about multiple damage. So essentially, multiple damage is when a hit that you've rolled for goes through and it was successful, and then in the normal game later on you'll learn about saves and everything, but in this one, if you get a successful hit, you then roll that dice again and consult this table called the D3 table. So essentially you half what you've rolled, rounding up. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 will give you a score of 1, 2 or 3, determining how much damage you've produced. And of course the sequitors need 2 damage to remove 1, so there's a potential for that one attack to kill 1 whole sequitor. So yeah, it's pretty nasty. And then you go on to the sequitor's attack as well, which we already know, and they just do 1 damage with their 2 attacks, and that's that. So next issues coming up, issue 3, we get Stormcast reinforcements and read about Stormcast Eternals. We also get a new paint, so cool. We get Castigators and a Griffhound, which is this cool little thing here, and then we get the base paint Retributor armor, so we get to start putting on some paint onto the Stormcast. And then issue 4, the ghostly hordes grow in number. Learn more about the mortal realms. So you end up with 4 glaive wraith stalkers, these chaps here, which are really gruesome, and you get a new paint. It's a technical paint called Nihilic Oxide. Nihilic Oxide. There's so many ways to say it, but I say Nihilic Oxide. There we go. So let me know what you think in the comments below. What's your favourite bit of this issue? Do you think it's worth the $5.99 price tag, and what are you looking forward to in the next couple of issues? So there you have it. So as you can see, there's tons of details on those models. They look absolutely fantastic, and I can't wait to get those built and painted. And the issue itself has got so much content in it, it'll keep you entertained for many a bathroom trip. Please stay tuned for further videos. I'll be doing a building video, a painting video and a playthrough video for each issue. So if you haven't already, click that subscribe button and the bell icon next to it so you get those notifications. And also, before I go, check out Chilling Wargamers. There's going to be a link somewhere down there, which is my new home if you haven't noticed already. And we have some amazing people there collaborating, doing blogs, tutorials, reviews of all kinds. So go check that website out and say hello from me. So until the next time, see you then. The stuff of empires.